So when I was in sixth grade,
Okay.
I've always been like a great student, not to like toot my own horn or anything, but just like my parents, African parents, they don't play with school. Like, oh, you got 98. Where's the
They don't
other
play
two
games.
points? Oh, you have 99. Oh, you think that's good? Heh, bring the other points and then I'll tell you. And then I will say you did something, 99. Please. You know, African parents, they don't play. And like, my
Yep.
dad was
Yep.
always very, very, very serious about the importance of education, and really stressed
Yeah.
that in us.
Yeah.
And I think
Yeah.
also just because they were immigrants, and I don't think that I think my mom was happy in the US, but I think my dad always wished he had stayed in Ghana or stayed in Africa. And I feel that he really wanted us to push us to succeed because he kind of gave up on his dreams. So he
Mm.
would like check our homework every night. If it wasn't right, he'd cross it out in red pen. He wouldn't even let you erase. He was like, like you start again. He would make us write essays, give us Bible verses in the summertime, and make us write essays about. So my parents were very, particularly my dad, were very like serious about education. But when I was in
Yeah.
middle school, when you get around like 12, 13, you start to think you're somebody and like,
You
you want
start
to
to
be
rebel.
kind of a badass. So I did get into, I was like killing the report card game. All my teachers loved me, but I did get into like some trouble in school and I got into a
No.
fight. And
I see.
yeah, I know, but I this the story is important. So I got into one
Yep.
fight, and
Yep.
it had to be like the second semester or so. And the principal decided that they were gonna demote me from the gifted program and put
No
me in the
way.
mainstream. Yeah, because of one fight. And I was like a great student. I was like one like in the top of my class. You know what I mean? All my teachers loved me. They were
Yeah.
like, "No, you can't do this. Like, she's too
Yeah.
smart. Like, that's such a waste." So yeah, the principal decided that she was going to kick me out of the gifted program. She could have just given me like 3 days of in school
No way.
suspension. And
Yeah.
there were like
Yeah.
other people in the fight, and no one else. No, one of my other friends also got demoted. Um, but no one else had anything. And it was like two black girls in the gifted program, and you're gonna take them out of it because they got into a fight, which is something that kids do. You know what I mean? And there was this like
No way.
very it felt and now that I think of it in retrospect, when I see articles about how black children are punished harsher in school than white children, I'm like, whoa, I never even made that connection until so much later,
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
they thought that one fight is enough to derail your education, essentially.
Yeah.
So I spent the rest of that first semester, maybe like 3 or 4 months, in a mainstream class, and it was embarrassing, not for me, but for like it was a joke. I was like, why am I here? Like I felt like I was in third grade, and just like there were students who were so disruptive. I remember there was this one girl, and I'm not judging her because you don't choose the circumstances you're born into, and some of us are a little bit luckier than others, and some of us are a little more unfortunate than others. But I remember in
Yeah.
that class, there were kids who were just like they would just start screaming and cursing, and there was this one girl who we were 12, and she was 15 going on 16, and she had been
Yeah.
held back, and she was really smart, but she just like I don't know. I guess like when you don't have people pushing you, you don't see people examples that you can follow. It's so
Yeah.
easy to end up like that. And a lot of the kids who were I forgot to explain this earlier. So a lot of the kids who were in mainstream, they didn't live in the Orthodox Jewish neighborhood, but it's just a few blocks down, like 3 blocks down, there's
Yeah.
this major intersection that we call the junction of Flatbush Avenue and Nostrand Avenue, and our school
Yeah.
was on Nostrand. So then on the other side of Flatbush, it was a more black neighborhood, and there were
Yeah.
also projects, like housing
Okay.
projects. So a lot of
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
kids from mainstream came from the housing projects. So a
Mm.
lot of the kids in mainstream were actually African American, like Black American, not West Indian,
Yeah.
not West Indian, not Caribbean or
Yeah.
African, but some were also. So actually, one of my closest friends to this day was in that class with me, and I was like, "Oh my God, Demi, like you're too smart for this. You have to like
Yeah.
advocate for yourself." So
Yeah.
I remember I went from doing like 3 to 4 or 5 hours of homework a night to doing like all my homework in like an hour. for all subjects
No
because it was
way.
just a joke, you know?
Yeah.
So the next school year, so I finished out the school year in that class. And then the next school year, the first day of school, my mom came with me to school and demanded to see the principal. And she said, "You're not leaving my child there. You're putting her right back in the gifted program today, not tomorrow, today." And the lady
No
was
way.
like, she was like, "Oh." And so, yeah, so then I got back in the gifted program and like all my teachers vouched for me and stuff. And then, yeah, I finished middle school at the top of my class.